Fox buried an X-Men Gambit movie that would have changed everything, and the reason they killed it is something they never wanted you to know. Channing Tatum spent 9 years trying to get this film made. Multiple Oscar-nominated directors signed on. Fox greenlit it, funded it, scheduled release dates. Then, without warning, it vanished, and the truth behind that disappearance is worse than any explanation the studio ever gave you. Everyone assumes Gambit died because superhero fatigue set in, or because the script wasn't good enough. That's the story Fox let you believe. But the real reason has almost nothing to do with Channing Tatum's Cajun accent or a card-throwing mutant in a trench coat. It has to do with a $71 billion decision made in a boardroom that had nothing to do with quality at all. It started in 2014. Channing Tatum, fresh off playing Gambit in X-Men, Days of Future Past, walked into Fox's offices and pitched something bigger, a standalone film built entirely around Remy LeBeau, the charming, card-throwing thief from New Orleans who'd been a fan favorite since the animated series in the 90s. Tatum didn't just want to star in it. He optioned the character's film rights personally through his production company, Free Association, and attached himself as producer. Fox, riding high on Deadpool's success and eager to prove its X-Men universe could support solo spin-offs the way Marvel Studios did with the Avengers, said yes. A release date was set for October 2016. Concept art existed. A script existed. This wasn't a rumor. This was a real, funded, scheduled motion picture. By early 2015, Fox had hired Rupert Wyatt, director of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, to helm it, working from a script by Josh Zetumer. The budget was reported north of $150 million. Tatum trained with movement coaches to master Gambit's bow staff choreography. Then, in June 2015, he shattered his ankle in 5 places during a stunt rehearsal, an injury so severe doctors warned he might not walk normally again. The release date slipped to 2017. Wyatt exited over creative differences soon after. Fox didn't cancel, it doubled down, replacing him with Doug Liman, director of Edge of Tomorrow, and later with Gore Verbinski, who turned Pirates of the Caribbean into a billion-dollar franchise. 3 A-list directors, 3 separate production windows, millions spent across nearly half a decade. Fox treated this as a cornerstone of its X-Men expansion. But behind the scenes, cracks were forming. Fox executives and Tatum's camp reportedly clashed over tone. Tatum wanted something grounded and romantic, closer to a heist film than a superhero spectacle. The studio kept pushing for bigger action to justify the budget. Verbinski left in 2016 over creative disagreements of his own, the third director to walk away. Every departure reset the script and the schedule, quietly eating the momentum Tatum had spent years building. Meanwhile, X-Men Apocalypse underperformed that summer, and Fox's appetite for untested solo spin-offs started cooling inside boardrooms nobody outside the company ever saw. Here's the part they never wanted you to connect. Gambit wasn't ultimately killed by a bad script, a cursed shoot, or even Tatum's shattered ankle. It was killed by a $71 billion phone call. In December 2017, Disney announced it was acquiring 21st Century Fox, including the entire X-Men film library. The deal closed in March 2019. The moment it did, every standalone project built around Fox's version of the X-Men, Gambit, X-Force, Multiple Man, a planned Kitty Pryde film, became instantly, corporately worthless. Not because the ideas were bad. Because Disney already owned Marvel Studios, and Marvel Studios had its own plans for these characters, on its own timeline, inside its own connected universe. A grounded, romance-driven Gambit heist movie starring Channing Tatum didn't fit anywhere in that plan. It wasn't a creative decision. It was a balance sheet decision. Every executive who'd greenlit Gambit, every director who'd signed on, every dollar spent on pre-production became a rounding error in a merger worth over $70 billion. Tatum said later he was heartbroken that the film had been so close more than once. But close didn't matter anymore. The studio that owned the character had changed, and the new owner simply didn't need what Fox spent 9 years building. Think about what that erased. A Channing Tatum-led Gambit film would have been one of the only romance-driven, R-rated adjacent entries in the entire superhero genre, closer to Out of Sight than the Avengers. It would have kept Fox's X-Men universe expanding past 2016, possibly reshaping how Dark Phoenix was positioned, possibly extending the mutant franchise's momentum before its underwhelming 2019 send-off. Instead, Gambit joined a graveyard of shelved Fox projects, and when Disney finally brought the character back, it was as a background player in Deadpool and Wolverine, a few minutes of fan service standing in for nearly a decade of real, funded ambition. So the next time someone tells you a superhero movie died because the script wasn't good enough, ask what was actually happening in the boardroom that week. Because Fox buried more than one mutant that year, and the next one is worse.